Firing. He's going for Landry down by the end zone. A tumbling catch for a touchdown. He's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Is this how it feels to win?
Welcome back, Survivors, episode 18, season 4. This is Surviving the Season live from the Baywater Studios in Tampa, Florida. I'm Adam. Greg's here.
Yo, 2-0, baby!
Browns 2-0, 21-18 victory in preseason week 2. Interesting
Hard
game.
fought. Indianapolis going all out in week 2 of the preseason, calling all the timeouts to try to get the victory.
At least
How about it?
At least they went for it on 4th down there at the end. They could have kicked the field goal and really fucked us.
Yeah, let's take this OT. I think we got a chance to pull this one off, guys. We need the 17,000 large sitting here at the home stadium to really get their money's worth of this preseason complete shit show of a game where we're going to play like all the 4 stringers. Hey, man, are you guys ready to watch everybody from the AAF tonight? All right, Colts fans, get off your feet.
So you had the Colts broadcast, so I'm sort of interested to see what they thought of their performance.
Of what they thought of their Colts performance?
Yes.
Oh my God, they were like talking about the penalty. Would they have 16 penalties or 17 penalties?
There was 29 penalties overall, 16 on the Colts, 13 on the Browns.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about how bad the penalties were. They were talking, this is the most interesting thing. They're going, it's really weird where we were 1 of 8 on 3rd down last week, and we're only a 2 of 8 right now at this moment when they brought it up. I don't know what it is. We just haven't got together. You know, we were good at that last year, and I don't know what it is. What could it possibly be?
Yeah, it's preseason.
Yeah, Andrew Luck's not playing in the game, right, buddy. You know, Baker Mayfield's not out there. That's probably, you know, your offense isn't going to be as good. We're got a healthy dose of Philip Walker. Did that get you excited?
I'm barely sure who that is. I see
Chad Kelly, Chad Kelly now. Chad Kelly.
10 of 17 for Philip Walker.
10 of 17. Yeah, Chad Kelly's actually could be a decent quarterback if he ever got his life together. I think the last thing he showed up to the wrong house, right? Isn't that what happened? And like he thought it was his own home. If he turns around his career, like this could truly be the Robert Downey Jr. story. Like think about, you remember when Robert Downey Jr., like it was Less Than Zero, that movie where he actually shot up heroin because he was such a method actor that, hey man, my character's a heroin addict. I guess I got to do heroin and also, you know, just because I'm true to the game. And then he ended up falling asleep on the neighbor's, like in the neighbor's daughter's bed. Woke up and they flipped out, called the cops, and he thought he was in his own home.
Yeah, I sort of remember the whole thing. I mean, Chad Kelly right now in week 2 of the preseason is the 4th quarterback on their team.
Yeah, because he's suspended for the first 2 weeks. He's clearly better than Philip Walker, though. He should be QB3.
Oh, okay.
You know,
QB3.
Probably not over Brissett.
I mean,
what if he turns it around? What if he turns it around? My point is, what if he goes from dude that ends up going to the wrong house because he's so shit-faced to getting going to a Super Bowl, which is equivalent to getting the role of Iron Man and making millions of dollars. That's the Robert Downey Jr. story right there, man. I hope he turns it around just for that. Garrett Gilbert, in my opinion, played well enough to at least from Freddie get the nod that there could be a competition for QB2 here.
Yeah, 13 of 19, 151 yards and 2 scores, sacked once. Didn't play bad. I mean, he had some... He
throws the ball well, man.
Yeah, he threw some great balls.
He has such a better... His arm compared to Stanton is like night and day. Like really, Stanton and Blau, those arms are on the same level. Garrett Gilbert, Gilbert's arm is above that. It's better.
Yeah. Gilbert is 28, right?
I don't know.
27.
I believe you. I'm not sure. Yeah. I know he's been, sort of a journeyman.
He was a 6th round draft pick in 2014 for the Rams. he didn't like just figure it out. He's always going to be in the background of whatever discussion we're having. Yes, if Gilbert can get the third spot and you can get him to the practice squad or whatever, but it's not going to be Mayfield and Gilbert in the quarterback room and then Stanton's cut. It's not going to happen that way.
Yeah, they're not going to cut Stanton because they think he's too valuable as
and that's the only important thing is what's important to Mayfield.
I don't know, man. I guess I wish I was in the room because what's so important about Drew Stanton that you can't? I mean, what does he add to your quarterback room that you can't get from your quarterback coach? And if you can't get the same thing from your quarterback coach, then what the hell do you have him as your quarterback coach for?
Right. Stanton's been in the league for 12 years. Ryan Lindley's been in the league for 12 years or whatever. Even though I don't know what year he was drafted or joined the league, but
yeah. So you're saying you want to keep Stanton even though he's fucking sucks?
Yeah. I don't want to carry a third quarterback if that's your question.
Well, don't carry a third quarterback.
Okay. Well, what's best for Mayfield?
Is it best for any other quarterback? Do they just keep a guy just because he's a veteran guy? It's like, oh, we got to keep a veteran guy here. You have a quarterback's coach, right?
Yeah. Okay. That might be a fair assessment, but at the same time, it seems like Mayfield Stanton works. So if you want to bring up Gilbert to play 2% better than Stanton, if Mayfield gets hurt for the entire season, like who cares?
Whew, I don't know if it's 2%.
20%. What difference does it make?
Yes. Oh, well, I mean, you remember Matt Castle, right?
I mean, okay. I know who he is, but nobody remembers him from winning.
For Brady, he went 10-6, and then they traded him for a second-round pick.
Right. Nobody remembers him for winning, like, playoff games.
Well, no, but you got it. So Stanton is worth nothing, at least at the very. So let's just say Stanton's worthless, right? And let's say Gilbert, you can actually make into, well, one, he's a better player, and two, you can turn him into some value that actually you get back in return something. Then you've made yourself. I mean, this is what the Patriots do with all their quarterbacks. Every single one of their guys they trade for picks after they use him as a backup quarterback. Brissett, we just saw today. They traded him. I don't remember what they got for him. Second or third round pick, right?
Dorsett.
Garoppolo, second round pick.
Brissett was traded for Dorsett, wasn't he?
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah. Well, Dorsett was a first round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a history of taking quarterbacks, and then if they get a chance to play, they look halfway decent, and then they're worth something because they go, he played behind Brady, just have a chance, and now. If we only if he came here, we gave him a chance, maybe we could make something out of him. But no, we have a coach who's our backup quarterback. So
I keep Stanton, and it's not even close. And I'm not keeping a third quarterback. I'm trying to get Gilbert to the practice squad.
He's finally had opportunity, right? He goes to AAF. You get opportunity. What are these? All these guys are searching for one thing, right? These young players, just to get in the game so they can show off what they can do. Because when you don't, how many there's probably a long history of guys who, had they actually gotten a shot, could have been halfway decent players in the league. Some guys just never get the opportunity. So when maybe you found something with, I'm not saying Gilbert's ever going to be anything special, but what I'm saying is what other position would you go, we're going to play the guy who's not as good. We're going to keep the guy who's not as good. No other position would you ever say that. But now for quarterback, you go, oh, well, it's because you have to have him there to teach Mayfield. Well, you have a whole coaching staff to teach Mayfield. What's Stanton teaching him? How to talk to the press and where to get a cheap bus for the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what he does there, but
yeah. All right, today, this is what QBs do with their free time. Ready? This is what we do. Right. What could he possibly be teaching them that he can't learn from a coach?
I don't know, but Baker's played 12 games, and everyone's super excited that the Browns are going to win 16 games this year. So if you want to kick 20. Stanton out of that, then that's on you, I guess. I don't know what else to say, maybe Chad Kelly will get cut from the Colts and you can bring him in for a competition with Gilbert. The whole thing doesn't make any sense to even worry about. We're not keeping we could keep three quarterbacks.
But maybe when we go to do our roster breakdown, maybe we'll see. Maybe there is room. I mean, chances are there's not room for three. I think probably half the teams keep three, half the teams keep two. If you're going, hey, we're only keeping Stanton because he's your extra coach,
Aren't the Browns telling us something to not even put Stanton in the game? Like, we don't even need to see him.
No, they know. They're basically saying we're screwed one way or the other. Or, I mean, look what they did with Zettel today. Zettel's playing late into the fourth quarter. Like, you almost think they're showcasing him. Are they showcasing Gilbert here to try to get maybe some kind of late round pick?
What, a 7? Like, what's he worth?
No, I mean, that's what you do, right? That's exactly what you do with guys that are on the end that you don't think are going to make your roster. You try to get a 7th for him.
Okay. So
don't you think that's what they're doing? They're doing with Zettel today. Why would you play Zettel into the fourth quarter if you're relying on him to play snaps this year?
They played the fuck out of Zettel today.
When we get the snaps, we'll have a better idea. We'll have an actual number besides the fuck of the amount of snaps. So what's the point of playing Zettel?
I don't know.
That late in the game. What are they doing with him, in your opinion?
Well, they didn't want to play Chris Smith. Vernon had his reps. Garrett was out. Ray played a few reps. Chad Thomas was out. Jarrell Owens came in at the end, and Jannard Avery played the reps on the other side of Zettel. Mm-hmm. That's all the edge defenders we have. So if Chris Smith had the day off, Zettel just is taking reps that they don't want to give to anybody else. Yeah,
I mean, it seems pretty suspect, though, to be giving him that many reps. Well, he's got to be on the bubble.
But who else are you giving him to? Avery?
I mean, just play Owens at this point. What do you care? Well, I mean, why would you play Zettel in the fourth? You might as well play Wyatt Ray, the Owens kid. Hell, just stick one of these other defensive tackles out there to take up a few reps or whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe they just wanted to get him some work. Maybe they want to keep him, but they just thought he needed some work.
Yeah, he's like a 5-year veteran. I think he'll be all right without it. Either way, I feel like today, obviously, you're trying to get a good look at guys that are going to make the roster. The other thing that was a little suspect, what about like Derek Willis playing late into the fourth quarter after he was with the ones before we found out about the Antonio Callaway suspension? Derek Willis is out there with the ones, and everybody's going, what the hell is Derek Willis out there with the ones? And then as we come out today, you see Montgomery out there with the first team.
Well, Willis didn't do himself any favors in preseason week 1
or 2. He did have a touchdown though.
Yeah, 1 catch for 4 yards on a slant with single coverage.
Yeah, and Montgomery had the best day of the.
Yeah, 3 catches for 77 yards on 4 targets. Made some really tough contested catches. I'm not at practice. Willis has been. His name keeps coming up as somebody that's like doing good stuff. He didn't do anything in game 1 as a starter. So were they telling him like, here, we're going to knock you down the list a little bit? And
do you have the snaps from week 1 still? What do you play in week 1?
I would have to look them up, but
I didn't know if you had it written down there
or
anything. He's still playing on special teams, so he's probably a given here to make the team. But he's getting pushed by DJ Montgomery for sure.
Who's our wide receiver room, in your opinion, right?
Beckham, Landry, Higgins, Callaway, Willis, and then you're talking about Strong, Montgomery. I don't know. What's up with Willis, man? I mean, he's playing special teams, right? Yeah. That's what we need. I need to go back and look at the first team of special teams because he was on special teams.
Yeah, so if he's good because he's got special teams, then we're just talking basically between Montgomery and Strong, who Strong had 3 catches for 14 yards and a score on 3 targets. Nothing downfield, but he's been doing well in practice as well.
He's more of like your possession guy, very strong hands, but he doesn't get separation. And DJ Montgomery seems to be more of an athlete. He also dropped one tonight, DJ Montgomery, and dropped one in week 1, right? Or did he have a fumble? He had the fumble in week 1 too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also drew 2 defensive pass interferences, which one of them was bullshit, but you take what you get, I guess.
It'll be interesting to see if somebody asks Freddie about it.
Yeah.
Because Freddie keeps on saying it doesn't matter what you did yesterday, it only matters what you do today, right? He wants to see consistency.
Yeah.
And the day Willis was at the scrimmage, Willis dropped a ball. He wasn't good last week, and then he drops another ball today. I wonder if he's getting a case of the yips. It was like he's got the job right there in right there in the palm of his hand, and he just can't secure it.
The other receivers, Higgins, 4 catches on 4 targets, 34 yards. He's good. You can see he's open anytime he wants to be. Hyman had 1 catch on 1 target for 24 yards. He got hurt, I believe. Something happened to him at the end. Dorian Baker, 1 catch on 3 targets for 23 yards.
Higgins is just very sure-handed, You can tell. See, there's such a difference between like what you get with Beckham, Higgins, and Landry. It's when you get those bang plays, they never drop them.
Right.
And then you get these young guys, and that's where you really separate like what a good wide receiver is. Those guys that can take the hit, and it doesn't. You see it with Higgins, the ball doesn't even move. You see it with Landry and Beckham. They just always secure those passes. And then you see these guys where they're wide open, they just get a little bobble even when there's nobody around them. Well, that little bobble that you have when there's a arm comes in, that's knocking the ball out of there.
Right. Contested catches, those dudes just pluck the ball out of the air. It's just sucked in. Like
you can tell it like it's natural hands, like soft, like Rashard Higgins, just what I would call super soft hands. Like you don't get that with Njoku. Like right. Njoku puts his mitts up there, and it's a very hard catch. Now he's been catching the ball a lot better this year, but he's just not natural. He doesn't have natural hands like Landry, Beckham, and Higgins have. And I think Callaway will get some drops, but man, Callaway does have some nice hands. He'll make some really sweet catches. His still come down to like being young, just getting more reps. And that's what it is for a lot of these guys. A guy like DJ Montgomery, it's like you got to hit that jugs machine. Juju Smith's doing 300 catches a day. You should be doing 400, right? If I'm trying to make this team, that's what I'm doing.
No, I agree. Yeah, put in the work.
You just have to turn that into, the ball's an extension of your hand. If it hits your hand, you're catching it. But you see that, and Rashard just looks, what's this, year 4? He just looks so smooth this year. He's come a long way, man. Because I don't think you can say that year 1, his rookie year, where he's this sure-handed and he's this good of a route runner. He's just really, nothing spectacular of an athlete, but man, like he gets open and he makes plays. He's got a bright future this year, and Baker loves throwing the ball. He benefited so much from Baker being QB2 last year to start off the year. Not getting reps with the first team. It was the Baker Mayfield, Rashard Higgins show at practice all preseason last year.
Who was on the first team receiving core?
Beckham, Landry,
Callaway,
Josh Gordon.
Oh, Josh Gordon was around.
Started off with Corey Coleman.
Oh, Corey Coleman was around. Yeah, that's right.
We've come a long way, man. We've come a long way.
Yeah, it's weird to think of Higgins wasn't even first team last year.
No, he was clearly the number 1 target in those training camps. And the other thing who we still haven't saw, Seth DeValve, man, still dealing with the concussion. Baker Mayfield talked him up, and he's like, I'm telling you, Seth DeValve's going to have a strong year. He's a good player.
We can talk about the tight ends. Steven Carlson, 2 catches, 2 targets, 14 yards. He just seems like a dude. Rico Gathers, he showed up, 2 catches, 2 targets, 9 yards.
Hey, that's 67% of his Cowboys catches, isn't
it? It is. So he had a sighting. Demetrius Harris, no catches on 2 targets. I think he dropped 1.
Yeah, you said that was tipped. No, I didn't see it at first glance because I was like, God damn it, here we go. Because Demetrius Harris, legitimately terrible hands. Like really bad.
Yeah.
I think he had a 22% drop rate the one year. So it's not good.
Right. Njoku's our tight end 1. You would like to have somebody in there that we can say that's our next dude up, that we don't have to worry about. Farrell Brown played.
Yeah.
He was out there. Is Harris more of a blocking guy? Okay.
So. Yeah, he's a better block. He's really, he fills the role of, what's his name, Fells last year. But he struggled. I don't know. Today he got beat on one of his blocks really good. Now, you remember, he hasn't really been practicing all that much, so he's probably got some rust there.
Yeah.
So let's let him have a game to get himself back and have, a full week of practice coming up. Maybe he'll come out and have a better week next week. But I thought he struggled a little bit on his blocks. And did he get called for a penalty? So many people got called for penalties. I don't even know how we can keep them.
There's a lot of penalties. I wrote a lot of them down, but it's getting dark in here. I'm having a hard time seeing my notes.
Kareem Hunt got a couple carries.
Yeah, 2 carries, good. 6 yards.
Yeah, and Dearness Johnson, he got most of the workload. What are we doing there?
Hilliard was out with a leg injury, I think, and Chubb had the day off.
So what are we doing? We're keeping Dearness Johnson as our RB3 or something? Or what are we doing there? There's another.
Yeah, I think you can because, well, one, Hunt is suspended, so you have an open roster spot, so you don't have to worry about blowing a roster spot there. I would probably bring him in, especially if Hilliard's not 100%.
Yeah. I mean, he seems fine, but you're talking about if, you're going 8 weeks, Chubb goes down early, you're relying on some pretty inexperienced running backs with Dearness Johnson. And I'm sure at that point they go out and get somebody, but.
Could. That's the whole thing of getting rid of Duke.
Yeah.
But was Duke ever going to be a 15, 20 carry guy a game? Probably not.
No, I mean, he's not. Yeah, no. I mean, if you had to, let's say you had to get by a game or two, you could do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that over a course of a season. I mean, think about what the Saints did last year with like Kamara when what's his name was out early. Mark Ingram. When Ingram was out, he was out like the first 3 or 4 games, and they gave a giant workload to Kamara. Once Ingram came back, they dialed it back. They knew they're not going to be able to take Kamara the whole year and give him that type of workload, and he's going to hold up.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Just not built like that.
Right. Trayon Gray had 4 carries for -1 yard in sort of the dirt time.
Yeah, he's super athlete, man. Did you see that? He had that run last week where he bounced to the outside, and you can really see him scoot, but, probably lacking some vision. Not getting a lot of carries in college.
Yeah.
Lacking in experience. What do you think about the offensive line shuffle today?
Yeah. Before we go there, just the one thing was Sheehy. He had a rib injury, so I don't know what's going to happen to him. But just to have that 6th receiving spot right now is going to be a trouble. Yeah, let's talk about the offensive line because I was watching them very closely and literally sending you texts every possession of who was in, who was out.
Yeah, and I was writing it down also. It started once they got to the second half, did they play the whole second half with the same group?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So left tackle was the new guy, John Yarbrough, out of Richmond.
Yeah, I noticed him, and I was like, who the hell's that guy?
Yeah.
You got to love when they add these guys late. You're like, wait a second. When did we add this guy?
So Robinson, yeah. So let's talk about left tackle because Robinson played 2 series, and then Kendall Lamb played like a series or 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's when they brought in Yarbrough, and then he played the rest of the game at left tackle. Left guard was super interesting because Forbes played left guard at one point, and then they moved him to right guard.
Did Batonio play at all?
No.
Okay.
Willie Wright played left guard. I think that's it. Willie Wright might have played most at left guard.
I think he did.
Oh, Forbes. Yeah. Oh,
You said Forbes. Forbes was there for like a series or 2. Because at one point I was like, who the hell's left guard 79? Because I knew it was Forbes, and I was like, why is he over there?
They moved him over when they took out Willie Wright, who gave up a sack. They took him out for like a series, and then they put him back in. Corbett played almost all center terribly the entire
snaps,
game.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I want to go back and watch this now because he's not terrible all the time, right? But he doesn't look good. Like there's times where I see Forbes like really holding his ground, and you can see Forbes' movement. There's a couple times where they had him pulling and whatnot, and Corbett looks like he moves pretty well. They have him pulling a few times as well, but Corbett doesn't seem to be able to hold his ground the same way. He seems to be getting pushed back rather easy. I want to go back and watch the whole thing. Like I don't sit there and focus while we're watching the game live on what the offensive line is doing. But I noticed there was at least 4 snaps that were bad.
He wasn't great by any means.
Did they bring that up on the Browns broadcast, or did they sort of just go like there's a bad snap and they're like, holy cow, look over there?
No, they brought it up that, yeah.
Oh, they did? Okay. I thought they were like, hey, did you see that over on the other side of the field? Don't look at the center.
Yeah, they weren't really pointing out that he was struggling even to block.
Oh.
Did I text you at one point that Kyle Kalis might have been in for a series?
No, I thought he was hurt.
Cush started right guard.
Played some center, right?
He may have.
Or no.
And then Forbes came in. Brian Finange Anofo played at none. He didn't even play. Whatever his name is. Trevin Tate also did not play. So they used the same group the entire way second half, which ended up being Forbes at right guard, and then right tackle was Brad Seaton, who actually I thought played okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I need to go back and watch the line. It's like I said, it's so hard to just focus on the line when you're watching it live. So I always like to rewatch it to look at that.
Well, especially how many people they had rotated in and out and moved people around. That can't be good for linemen, right?
I mean, I brought that up about Corbett when, like, what's the point of bringing in a rookie and then having him play 3 different spots?
Yeah.
Let's focus on, I don't know. And I guess the argument would be, well, we're focusing on it 10 hours a day. We're professionals, so we should be able to do that.
Yeah, I would say right now Corbett looks like a disaster, though.
Well, yeah, for a high second-round pick, yes.
Yeah.
It's not good.
You would sort of expect him to come in. He's a 4-year starter as a left tackle, but you would expect him to be able to come in and at least...
Now, I don't want to jump over to the defense, but I want to throw out this question. More of a disaster today, Corbett or Sheldrick Redwine?
Wow. Yeah.
Redwine was horrendous.
Redwine's also a rookie. He's also a later pick. 4th round pick, right?
Yeah, and everybody, I think you want to stash him and not have to play him this year. Now the problem is injuries happen.
Yeah,
and your hand might be forced at some point to play the guy. So that's where you get tough. It's tough just keeping a guy that is clearly not ready to play. I don't know. I didn't love. He wasn't one of my favorite picks.
Yeah,
to be honest. So I'll go ahead and bash him now.
Burnett didn't play at all. Hassel played.
I saw him out there first.
He did.
Yeah, I saw him.
Oh,
he probably only played 1 series.
Yeah, Randall played a couple series. Whitehead played very sparingly, which is weird because I thought they would try to get him some work. Eric Murray played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hassel played a lot, and Redwine played basically the whole game until
which is
Tiggy Samko came in.
Do it with these guys.
Yeah.
Let's just play him the whole game. That was the other thing. At first, when I was like, where the heck is Taki? Because, and I don't know if they said it on the broadcast.
They did not even mention it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, and then finally some people were like, yeah, I pulled a hammy. I didn't even know that. And I was like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah, because I was watching the linebackers pretty close, too. I think Schobert played with Kirksey for the first series, and then... Yeah,
okay. The fumble, it got called back. I think there was a penalty, but how did Kirksey not end up with that fumble? It's like the very first series or second series.
Yeah, that was a penalty on the Colts, though. It would have been Brown's ball.
Should have been our ball, man.
Wrapped it up, yeah. I don't know how he didn't get on it either.
To finish up the offense, the offensive line is a work in progress, so I think we'll just stay with that. The way that they're running a lot of these shotgun runs, I don't know if it's going to matter that much.
Okay.
If you're going to spread out the defense, you're going to create running lanes just by doing that. So I hope they continue to do that. I like that.
Yeah.
I thought the play calling, was pretty good again, and it's not like Freddie's setting up. He's going, okay, well, let's play against the Colts' weaknesses. I don't think he's setting up a game plan. I just think Freddie really has a good feel of how to play, how to call plays and the proper alignments and proper, the things that work. He's got a good feel for that. Man.
Yeah, that's fair. I think as long as you get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback pretty quick, we can deal with an offensive line that's average. Yeah,
just be average.
We can't afford an injury right now. That's going to be a big problem.
Corbett can't afford to not have an injury in front of him.
Yeah.
So it's all in the eye of the beholder.
He's only a second-year player, so I guess he didn't play a lot of regular season games last year. You know what I mean? He
played like snaps. 4 snaps.
Yeah.
Something of that nature.
Let's
get over to the defense.
All right, cool. Defensive line, Ogunjobi, Richardson, Zettel, and Vernon started.
Yes.
And they played probably the first quarter, almost the first half, exclusively.
Did you I thought at one point Sheldon Richardson was hurt.
Yeah, he kind of got rolled up on, and then they took him out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You couldn't get him out fast enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Get him the F out of there. And Ogunjobi, great first series, man, getting pressure. And then I think the one Richardson, he might have made that tackle there, the one he got rolled up on.
Yeah, he also strung out one, kept really good contain. For a preseason game, they did exactly what they needed to do. It looks like the Browns' defensive line is going to be a handful, and that's no Garrett. either.
Yeah, even the backups were pretty decent today.
Yeah.
Like as you got into what's the backup defensive tackle that Coley had a nice little
Coley had
he had a couple nice little plays. Ekwale was in there. Now Lawrence, I thought he was going to be injured and he wasn't going to be playing today. He was out there, but he didn't have his normal, get it busting through the line. I wonder if he is a little shaken up.
Yeah, he didn't play many snaps. I saw number 99 out there, and I was like, oh, Lawrence is in. I saw a little Carl Davis. So
yeah, they were in after the other two that I just mentioned.
Exactly, yeah. Ekwale was the first one. Or Coley and Ekwale came in first. And the edge defenders was Zettel, Wyatt Ray, Jarrell Owens, Jernard Avery, and Vernon played, like I said, that almost the first half.
Yeah, no, like you said, it looks promising there. It looks promising.
Yeah.
I don't think Mac Wilson, he didn't quite play as well as he did last week, obvious. I don't know how you're going to match up to the kind of week that he had. One of the things I really liked is he seems to be reacting. He seemed to have a real nose for the run today, which he was super slow in college at like reacting to the run. What I guess you would say like play recognition, that sort of thing. I don't know how much film study he's putting in or what they're whatever they're doing with Mac Wilson, they're getting something extra out of him, in my opinion. Because there's a couple times where he's meeting the running back in the backfield. He never did that in college. Like he was not like a tackles for loss guy. Now, they had a couple of these blitzes where he's running right through the A gap and he got after the quarterback. It's good to see. He was around the ball. Like there's a couple times where he missed a play. So there's still things he needs to work on, but I like the fact that he's around the ball. He's in position to make the play. And then let's, continue to work on that, making sure you're in the right spot and then, work on making the play instead of letting it get by you. And a couple things to work on, but overall not as good as what he was last week, but another week to build upon. I think, there's a lot of good things that you see out of him again.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there for the most part. Week 1 preseason, he had almost like a perfect Pro Football Focus score.
Yeah, like 97.7. Yeah, it was up there. It was about as perfect as you can get.
And I thought he missed a couple tackles that he could have made, maybe just breaking down a little bit better, being a little bit more patient. I thought he got beat in coverage a couple times. I know you said one of them was against a wide receiver.
Yeah, the one was against...
And some of those are zone coverages that he really is just supposed to keep the dude in front of him. So that's going to be a little bit of film study on him. But under no circumstances is he going to score favorable on PFF, I don't think, this week.
Well, I mean, without the touchdown and the 2 interceptions. But the one was at Devin Funchess. He's like stuck on man coverage with Funchess, and I believe he just ran like a quick slant or something.
Yeah.
Can't think exactly what the pattern was. But, that's what Funchess is going to win that every single time against a linebacker. It's really, you don't want your linebacker sitting out there on Devin Funchess.
Would we be better off if Schobert was on that coverage? I don't think so.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You're still at a disadvantage. Now, Schobert's one of the best coverage guys in the league. Schobert's very good at that. Now, but yeah, I mean, you never want a linebacker on a wide receiver. You're at a disadvantage there.
Yeah, that might just be a scheme thing. So
yeah, definitely not the look that they wanted there.
Darius Taylor played a lot. Not sure exactly what he did.
He's a special teams guy. Yeah. I'm not sure if he adds anything other than special teams.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Same thing with Ray Armstrong. I don't think you're getting anything more.
Yeah, dude, like Ray came in pretty late. I think Willie Harvey played.
Willie Harvey was in there, yeah.
Late, so
he batted down the last pass of the game.
That's right, yeah.
He won it for us, dude. How could you forget? 2-0, baby. Sorry.
Yeah, really 2 linebackers on the field maximum the whole time, right? I don't know if I ever saw 3 linebackers on the field.
Yeah, I'm not sure. In goal line, I'm sure. I couldn't even tell you what they're putting in there for their goal line stuff. But yeah, for the most part, it's two linebackers. We're definitely going to see that the whole year. That's what the Cardinals did last year with Steve Wilkes. So expect the same this year, and especially with the way our roster's set up. We got all these versatile safeties that can basically be your third linebacker, in the box or bounce back and play safety. So versatility, man, that's what this team is built upon.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. You need to be able to move around, bring dudes up, pull dudes back, cover, bring dudes up to blitz, whatever the situation calls for.
Yeah, now the first series, I couldn't tell. Ward wasn't out there, right? Or did he play? Because
No, he didn't play.
I couldn't tell who was on the opposite side of the field. I knew Mitchell was on the bottom of the screen, and I'm assuming it was Greedy Williams because I don't think Ward played, but he may have been out there the first series.
Okay, maybe. I don't think he played either. I thought it was Mitchell and Greedy for almost 3/4.
Yeah.
Not Mitchell. Greedy played a lot. Mitchell probably didn't play as much as Greedy. They brought in Pipkins.
He was definitely the first guy out there. I do not recall TJ Carey, though.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
I hate these preseason games.
They're hard to follow, especially in the secondary. Yeah.
We get but did you see Tiggy Senko? Did you see him?
Yeah.
Huh? How about Lindsey Pipkins? Who the fuck is Lindsey Pipkins?
Pipkins and Robert Jackson and Phillip Gaines were sort of the three corners at the end of the game.
How about Robert Jackson's hit on the kickoff return? He pile drived right through the blocker and just smashed the kick returner.
That'll get you a job,
Hell yeah, that's how you get a job. Give yourself brain damage.
Would just be good on special teams too. Like at some point, you got to have a couple special teams guys that can go down there and hit somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
JT Hassel all over the field though. 5 tackles today. Sheldrick Redwine had 5 tackles according to this.
And probably missed
How many
5.
should he have had?
He played almost the whole game.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention Jannard Avery on the line because he was getting after it too. I believe he was the guy that made that shoestring tackle.
That was a good tackle.
Might have been 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1.
I believe he also had a tackle in coverage too, where he kept the dude in front of him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just blitz him, please.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to see him in coverage. That would be fine with me.
Yeah, if Burnett played the first series, then all the safeties played, but Hassel played basically the entire game.
Yeah,
Redwine
he was out there a lot.
The entire game, and Eric Murray played a lot of the game.
Looked active. He had a sack. They registered. Yeah, I recall that one.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
The Colts were saying that blitz. So the Browns are bringing that A-gap blitz with the safety around the outside. The Colts announcer had said, he's like, there's that blitz. It worked in the 2 days, all day. We got killed by it, and now it's in the game. We're getting killed by it again.
Oh, really?
Yep. They brought it up, and the Browns used it at least twice where it worked out perfectly for them today. I'm not sure how many other times they ran it.
So they're throwing it at them a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you guys figure this out yet or not?
But the one where Mac Wilson probably should have had the sack,
but
gets in there at head of pressure.
What did you think of special teams? If you're ready to move on, we don't have to. But
how about those kickers?
Both missed a couple long ones. And
what was
3 for 3 on
Joseph's was 47?
53 for Joseph and 52 for Seibert.
Okay, so a couple long ones. I mean, what's the percentage on 50-yarders?
The nice thing about Joseph is he had plenty of leg behind it.
Seibert did too, right?
Yeah, but I don't even think Seibert's was close. Craig Joseph was at least close, but Seibert hit the 2 extra points. Joseph hit the 1 extra point. I don't know about kickoffs. So does that seem like a battle to you anymore? I sort of think like Greg Joseph is going to win the
I feel like he's going to win it, yes, unless he completely melts down.
Yeah, and I feel like Seibert was just a wasted pick, but it's a 5th round pick. I don't know, like how that whole draft part of it just seems like a lot of wasted stuff sometimes.
Do you ever really want to draft a kicker? I guess there's been good kickers that end up being like Hall of Famers, but you're better off just signing a free agent, paying a little extra to make sure you have a sure thing, and taking a shot on a positional player. I'm sure, they got with Prefer and Mike Prefer looked at him and said, "Oh, this is a kicker I want," and talks him up. I'm sure there's some of that. And you trust your special teams coach who's been in the league for a long time, his opinion, and hoping that you did the right thing, because I think there's every intention of the Browns moving away from Greg Joseph, and it just hasn't worked out. the way they thought it would. But it's not like Joseph's been terrible.
True.
Every time you read about him in camp, he seems to be hitting most of his field goals. It's just when, it seems everything's magnified. If they miss one time, everybody's pissed at this point. And maybe it's not really as bad as what we think it is, but maybe it's worse.
Really, it just matters if we get to the game and we need a field goal. Like, who do you trust to make the field goal?
None of them.
Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, I don't trust Greg Joseph to make anything, but I think I trust him more than Seibert.
How many games did we lose last year because we missed field goals?
More than,
at least 2, right? There was
more than we should.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
First 2 games of the season, right? New Orleans and Pittsburgh, right? And then how many did we lose after that? At least 1, right?
Yeah. We also had a winner. We won a game at Baltimore, or actually in Cleveland against Baltimore.
So let's just say we get
kick, by the way.
Yeah, good point. Let's just say we get 2 out of those 3 because that's below even what a kicker's average is, right? Let's say we get 2 out of those 3. We're in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah.
No, we were in the playoffs last year. If we had 2 more wins and 2 less losses, we were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
So it does matter. Right. So we know that because we just felt the pain of it.
Just win the game on the field, I think, and don't worry about the kicker sometimes. Well, he can't miss extra points and shit. Like, all right, we're going to send you out there for an extra point. You got to bang that through 98% of the time or whatever the fucking...
Yeah, it's like 96 or something now. 95.
Right. I'm kind of hoping Freddie just goes for 2. I hope he gets with the analytics guys and just like, dude, it's okay to go for 2. It's actually a better play. Yeah. And then he kind of uses that to his advantage. I understand it in the preseason because you just want your kickers to get work. So we'll find out real quick what they're going to do in the regular season.
Yeah, so there's another issue that's up in the air there, but the coverage seemed fine for the day. Last year I feel like we got gashed every single time there was a punt or kickoff return from like preseason 1 through.
Actually, yeah, that's a great point. The defensive special teams is much better than we've seen. Yeah,
and we did have a punt return for a touchdown last week. Anything else?
A coaching decision.
Oh, yes. I know. I already know what you're going to say.
3rd and goal from like the 12.
I knew it.
Offensive holding penalty. You just decline that and let them kick the field goal.
Yes.
Because in the real season, Adam Vinatieri's coming out there and he's knocking that down. But you're just opening yourself up to a defensive penalty.
Even worse. The worst defensive penalty. After 5 yards hold, that gets you an automatic first down. Yeah. And now you went from 4th down and goal on the 6 and them kicking a field goal to, first down on the 15 because they got moved back 10 yards and now they're got a chance to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Definitely just decline the penalty, make them kick the field goal. I'm with you. Even though they took the penalty, they lost a yard, made it a tougher field goal. Like there's too much risk to even bother. We need to check the analytics on that one.
It's a 100% you decline that penalty and give them the 3 points, especially where they're in the game too. Like there was no reason to take that penalty. I don't know if it just got confused or whatever, but some of those things are going to come up for Freddie during the season. You've got to figure that out by the time you get to the playoffs, if we're going to the playoffs, which
we are. Some things have to be givens. Like it just has to be a given that this is what we do in this position.
Yeah. All right. I got nothing else. What's our Twitter?
Our Twitter is at Chad Kelly for Browns backup quarterback.
Jesus Christ.
You can hit us at. I'm just joking. Our Twitter is at STS Podcast, and our email is
survivalseason@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody, for the feedback, chatting up with us, sending us messages. Always nice to talk to everybody that's part of our Browns crew. Patreon.com/STS Podcast if you want to support the show. Greg, tell them what we say.
Keep on surviving.
Yeah, okay.